All right, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about humanistic psychology. We haven't talked a lot about humanistic psychology. We've kind of talked a lot about behaviorism and psychoanalysis. And for a long time, especially in the early 1900s, um, behaviorists and psychoanalysts kind of had a war going on. I mean, not literally, but they did kind of hate each other. And they each kind of had a feeling that the other field of psychology was not real. That is, the behaviorists heard about the psychoanalysts talking about their id and their ego and their superego and their defense mechanisms and unconscious mind and fixations. And they go, that's not science. That's not, how do I prove somebody's ego something or other? Um, I can't create a study that demonstrates that because, of course, remember that Freud is using a lot of philosophy to sort of fill in the holes in his theory. And the behaviorists go, those psychoanalysts, they're quacks, they're liars, they're just trying to take people's money for mumbo jumbo that doesn't make any scientific sense. And the same thing is happening to the psychoanalysts. Psychoanalysts look to the behaviorists and they go, these people are not talking about humans, right? They're talking about operant conditioning and classical conditioning and rewards and punishments and stimuli and responses. And that's how you train animals. And those people aren't really talking about real psychology. They are just talking about animals. And the truth was that they were both kind of right. If you look at the world through behaviorism, it basically turns every human being into a computer that you fit in, rewards and punishments or stimuli to get certain behaviors or responses. Or it turns everyone into an animal that you can train. And obviously, humans are much more than animals, and we're certainly much more than computers. But psychoanalysis also has a problem. The biggest problem is that if you look at the world through psychoanalysis, it sounds like everyone is crazy. Everyone is fixated in some psychosexual stage. Everyone does defense mechanisms. Everyone has an issue with their ego or their id or their superego, which makes everybody kind of look like they're not in control of their own life. And so it's right around the 50s and 60s where a new kind of psychology starts to emerge. And we call that humanistic psychology. Now, it's Carl Rogers who sort of develops humanistic psychology. And what he's talking about is a type of psychology that expresses or tries to understand free will, self awareness, how we grow psychologically. Maybe I'm in a bad place now, but with coping and with therapy, I can become a better person. And humanistic psychology focuses on a healthy personality. What does a healthy personality look like? How can we get someone who is unhealthy to develop a healthy personality? And we want to talk about the individual's conscious opinion about themselves, their subjective opinion about themselves. And Rogers talks about self actualization. Self actualization is the desire to match your personality to your values and to your beliefs, right? We all might think that maybe we should help the poor more, but we're so busy with our lives, we don't really have time to do that on a regular basis. Hopefully, every once in a while, we get to maybe volunteer at a soup kitchen or give to charity. But most of the time, we're kind of just stuck in our own world. However, we have this desire, hopefully, to sort of become more and to become better people and to match our behavior and our personality to our values and our beliefs. Now, if you've never heard of Carl Rogers, you might have heard about Abraham Maslow. And Maslow is the researcher who comes up with the hierarchy of needs. And I want to talk a little bit about the hierarchy of needs because it kind of puts everything together kind of well. Now, what Maslow suggests is that we have a hierarchy of needs, and you have to meet these needs every day. It's not like the other theories where if you do something right or wrong in childhood, it follows you. These needs are needs that you have to meet every single day. The first one is your physiological need. This is your need to eat, your need to sleep, and your need to drink. All right. And if right now you're thirsty or sleepy or hungry, you don't care about what I'm talking about. Nothing else matters except fulfilling that physiological need. And of course, if you're truly hungry, if you're starving, or if you're just exhausted, or if you're thirsty, uh, there's nothing that I can say that is gonna make you focus on anything except fulfilling this need. You might be a person or you might be around someone who every once in a while they just kind of get really angry at you, and then you feed them and now they're not angry anymore. That's a perfect example of a physiological need. This individual, while they're hungry, nothing else matters. Now, hopefully, this isn't a problem and it's something that you deal with every day and you can eat and drink and sleep every day. And so long as you've met those needs, then you have to fulfill the next need, which is your need of safety. And this is going to include, where am I going to sleep tonight? Or is someone trying to hurt me? And if you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, again, you're not interested in what I'm talking about. You're not interested about the other things that are happening in your life because you're only thinking about fulfilling this need. If you're afraid someone is trying to hurt you, nothing else matters except overcoming that need to get away from this person that is going to hurt you. You think about kids who deal with bullying in school and they can't learn because all they're thinking about is that bully. And so of course whatever's happening in class doesn't mean anything because they're trying to fulfill the need of safety. Again, hopefully, this isn't something you deal with on a regular basis and you meet your safety needs every day. If you do, then you try to fulfill your need of love and belonging. So it's kind of your social need. You want to be part of a group that makes you feel included and loved. That includes your family, it includes your relationships, and it includes your friendships. If you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, again, what ends up happening is that nothing else seems to matter. When we talk about kids, especially when a family breaks apart, there's a divorce, all of a sudden this kid has this issue about, do I fit into my family? Do I have a group that loves me? And because they don't feel like they have a group that loves them, that can translate to not doing well in school, to not doing well in other social situations, etc. Again, hopefully you feel like you belong in your family, that you have a friendship group that is strong, that you are developing good romantic relationships. And if you are, then you might be in this next level, which is esteem. So esteem is a little bit harder to fail every day because esteem is a desire to do well, the desire that other people see you as being competent, and the desire to see yourself as competent. This is why you're probably going to school because you want to feel like you are worthy of being liked, that you are worthy of succeeding, etc. This is why we often take on extra jobs. We do things that are a little bit harder because we want to feel like we deserve the things that we have and that, maybe we deserve more than what we have and we want to push towards that. Now, unfortunately, because esteem is hard to fulfill every day there's another job. Every day there's another class, another assignment, another task. If you're a parent, every day there's another issue with your family. Are your kids learning? Are they being good, ethical children, etc.? And so it's hard to end up feeling fulfilled. So hopefully we feel enough fulfilled that at least every once in a while we can kind of pop our head into that self actualization. We go, I really care about the poor. So today I'm going to go volunteer at a soup kitchen. Or, I really care about the environment. And so today I'm going to try to pick up litter or volunteer to save the rainforest. Right. But it's hard because esteem is something that we have to fulfill every day. And it becomes difficult to get to self actualization. But some people do. Some people just develop enough self esteem, enough self worth that they can move on to the next level, which is self actualization. And here, what people are trying to do is to match their personality to their beliefs and their values. And we often think of important people in history, people like Mahatma Gandhi, who believed in nonviolence and believed in freedom for India. And he went out of his way to develop nonviolence techniques to battle oppression in India until India was able to get their independence. Now, Mahatma Gandhi was a lawyer. He could have stayed in that esteem stage and made a lot of money and maybe even become rich. But once he was done with that, once he felt enough value, all of a sudden, all that esteem stuff doesn't seem to matter. And now what matters is matching my belief system to who I am as a person. You take someone like Martin Luther King, who again believed in nonviolence, but believed in the equality of the races. And again, he created a movement of nonviolence to stop things like racist policies in the South and bring together a movement that led towards equality. The founding fathers were all also rich people. They were very brilliant. They could have just made money, but they had these beliefs. And at some point, they felt that no, it's not just enough to be stuck in this esteem and try to make myself feel better. It's important that my values are matched by my personality and who I am as a person. And to them, that meant create a movement so that America could be free from colonial rule. Here you have Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, again, um, devoted her life to the poor and helping the poor, especially the people who were poor and sick, taking care of them in their last days, etc. And here you have Akon. Akon was a rapper, but at some point in his life, he decided to devote his time to making kind of the world a better place. And the way he did it was to bring technology to sort of poor parts of Africa, small villages. And he brought electricity and wells and solar panels so that people in these poorer villages had access to light and clean water. And again, he didn't have to do that. He could have kept on being rich and making money rapping. But at some point, he decided no, it's important that my personality and my behavior matches my values and my beliefs. Now, sometimes we talk about self actualization, and it almost sounds like a magical state where you're like enlightened. And although enlightenment might be a good way to think about it, it's also important to point out that these people aren't perfect and they do their best to make their values meet their personality, but they are by no means perfect. Mother Teresa famously didn't allow family members to see their sick loved ones, even when they did want to come see and help. Um, the founding fathers, some of them owned slaves, some of them cheated on their wives. They were not perfect by a long shot. Martin Luther King famously had an affair on his wife. Mahatma Gandhi prevented laws that would have protected the lower castes because he believed that the caste system still worked. So again, my point is that these people are by no means perfect, Self actualization doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means that in your life, you try to make your personality and who you are as a person match your values and your beliefs.